Ladies and gentlemen, from AT&T Stadium here in Arlington, Texas, USA, live on Dazn, we are set to go with a special super featherweight attraction. And it's all being brought to you courtesy of Mr. Eddie Hearn of Matchroom Boxing. We're sponsored by Hennessy, Never Stop, Never Settle, Air Force Reserve, Tecate, Bet Online, O'Reilly Auto Parts, Orange Crush, and Valueway. Introducing your three judges scoring this contest from ringside: Robert Chapa, Don Griffin, and Anthony Moss. And at the center of the belt, your third man in the ring, referee Rosario Solis. And now, ladies and gentlemen, 6 rounds of boxing scheduled in the super featherweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, standing with his head trainer, Marco Antonio Rodriguez. He wears the blue with white and gold trim. He scaled 127.6 pounds. His professional record, 8 wins, only 1 defeat, with 5 wins coming by way of knockout. Presentando el hijo de Monterrey, Nuevo León, México, Irving Macias Castillo. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner. He stands with his head trainer, Marc Castro. He wears the black with gold trim. He scaled 132.4 pounds. His young professional record, thus far perfect: 2 fights, 2 victories, and they both came by way of knockout. Here is the highly decorated amateur standout, the 17-time national champion and the 2-time amateur world champion, fighting out of Fresno, California, Marc Castro.
Now, gentlemen, giving instructions in the dressing room. Give las instrucciones en el vestidor. Protégete todo el tiempo. Protect yourself at all times. Obedezca mis órdenes. Obey my commands at all times. Good luck, guys. Touch them up. Toque guantes.
Recognition from Rosario Solis as the two fighters head to their corners and prepare. The atmosphere already starting to build up. Around 20 to 25,000 fans coming in, giving a good reception to both of these fighters, both with Mexican heritage. Castillo from Mexico, and of course Castro, who lives in Fresno, California. His mother hails from Mexico as well. On Cinco de Mayo weekend, as round number 1 gets underway.
Castro starting fast, and a nice chopping left hook to the side ahead of Castillo, right off the first bell. Castro wasting no time, putting a lot of pressure and letting his hands go here in round number 1.
Goodness gracious, he's out of the gates as if he has a reservation for dinner over at the Smokehouse in Arlington here. He doesn't want to waste any time. Get to that table. I mean, he is all business from the outset.
Maybe he wants to get showered up and get back out here for the Canelo main event.
That's right. Well, he could still have dinner in a good seat if he works at this pace and is able to rid himself of Castillo, but it is just a full onslaught. Just unrelenting in this opening minute from Castro. And it has animated this already growing crowd. As mentioned, expecting 70,000. I would estimate just shy of maybe 20,000 at this point, and they're already starting to take a look at Castro, and they like what they see.
Yeah, Castro looking very strong right now, letting his hands go really well, finding all the holes in the defense of Castillo.
I mentioned a smart boxer. He really uses the ability to think and out-strategize opponents is Castro. His mother, a school teacher, really instilled in him the idea to study, to really try to learn, to go in with a plan of attack, and boy, has he come out with one. Aggression, followed by more aggression.
Yeah, it seems like his game plan was come out here and hurt his man. And we are not mad about that.
A heaping helping from Castro.
Ooh, good left hook to the body there along the ropes. Little blood from the nose of Castillo now. So much pressure being put on by Marc Castro.
Oh, he's feeling leather just constantly. Every time he opens his eyes, it appears that there's a glove right on his face.
You know, Castillo seems to be making a technical mistake. He picks his head up when he punches.
And just no defense. Castillo just can't put anything up that is stopping or impeding the progress of the fists of Castro.
Oh, big right hand there from Castro. I don't see this fight going much longer.
Now the eyes will now be on Rosario Solis as he has to watch out. Castillo could be in danger of just being punished and therefore hurt. I mean, Castro continues the unrelenting pursuit.
I like what Castro's doing. He's not forgetting about the body either. He's starting upstairs and working his way down with right hands and left hooks to the body on either side. Ooh, there's that left hook again. Castro too big, too strong, too good right now for Castillo.
Yeah, the lanky Castillo just doesn't really have anything to put up as far as a block. I mean, there's nothing that's causing any stoppage of Castro's attack.
No, I mean, it looks like Castro has filled in nicely from the weigh-in yesterday. He looks very strong. Looking much bigger and stronger than Castillo.
Castillo waiting for that bell to sort of save him here in this opening round as Castro just dominates a smothering attack in the opening round.
That was pretty much an onslaught from bell to bell from Marc Castro.
That's the type of aggression that Castro's fans love to see, but I think that might have even caught everybody, including Castro's camp off guard, perhaps, because that was just nonstop. It was as if they got out of the gates running a 100-meter dash. He was just into Castillo immediately. We'll see if that can continue. What Castillo is able to do, he's really had nothing to shore up his boxing talents. And we talk about awkward fighters. Sometimes that can be troubling for opponents, but Castro had no problem dealing with whatever Castillo was doing out there, and I'm not sure it was boxing.
Yeah, he didn't give Castillo the chance to be awkward. He came right at him, right out of the gate, landed a left hook, and then just kept the pressure on from bell to bell, ripping shots to the head and the body for a full 3 minutes.
Much like the fighter before him who was impressive, Keyshawn Davis, a standout at the amateur level who could have gone on to Olympic glory. Everyone's expecting it, but Davis went pro, as did Castro. And Castro had multiple opportunities to represent in Tokyo, obviously as an American, but also his father, El Salvadorian, could have fought for El Salvador. His mother, Mexican. There was also some talk about him representing from our neighbors south of the border.
Blood pouring from the nose of Castillo, and those left hooks, he just has no answer for them. Even when his glove is up, they seem to be going right through.
But bypassing any Olympic glory to go pro, and it seems the decision made was the right one, and there's no looking back for Marc Castro. And he has been forward-thinking in this fight right from the outset.
Castro just ripping shots with both hands any chance he gets. The face of Castillo is a bloody mess.
In case this fight does end up being of brevity, as it seems to continue to move in Castro's way, what are the things that have really impressed you from the maturation process of amateur to pro for Marc?
You know, honestly, I've seen a maturation process from his pro fights. You know, from his pro debut to his second pro fight, which we had the chance to call. You know, it was a vast improvement. He looked, you know, awkward and off balance in his first fight, but his second fight, he settled down. He showed power. He fought a normally durable guy and was able to drop him immediately with a jab and ended up getting out of here. Now we're seeing more of that. We're seeing a lot more power coming from Castro. Much better footwork, much better balance. And you can tell Castro, he didn't come out here to show his boxing skills. He came out here to make a statement that he's a power puncher and he's going to try and get his man out of there. Well,
you know, seizing the opportunity, being on a stage this massive on the card with Canelo and Saunders and recognizing the vast arena that they're fighting in, Castro almost seems to be trying to make, as you say, a statement on this stage to alert everybody in boxing that he is here as a pro to be reckoned with.
Yeah, Castillo's actually mustering up some fight at this point. He threw some punches back, landed some good shots on Castro on the inside. Here we see an uppercut and a left hook combination from Castillo. Another right hand there. And you've got to be careful. When a guy like Castro comes out so fast, a lot of times you can spend the gas tank a little bit.
Yeah, if Castillo, I don't know if he had the forethought to do it because he's really been weathering a lot of blows, but if he thinks that if he's got the stamina can hang in, Castro punches himself down a notch or two because of all the expended energy.
Very possible, especially, you know, again, we were talking about the magnitude of this fight. You know, nerves plays a big part of your conditioning as well. That can sap your gas tank as well. And when you got a guy like Castro throwing such big shots like this, throughout, good right hand there from Castillo. You know, it's easy to sap that gas tank.
And the round comes to an end, and you just see just the mess that has been made. A lot of blood out of the nose of Castillo early, just all over, speckling his body as Castro has tried to deliver an ounce of flesh through the opening 2 rounds. Has the upper hand. Well, still stay with us. We'll conclude our Before the Bell broadcast and then moving over to Dazn for the main card, the main event tonight. Canelo, Saunders, a very much anticipated, a very hyped contest between those two, as well as a full card of entertaining fights still to come here at AT&T Stadium. Opened in May of 2009. It seat 80,000 in capacity. We're expecting somewhere between 70 and 72,000 when this is filled for tonight's sellout crowd. And another good look at just the determined. Look at the focus of Castro as he zeroes in on Castillo.
Yeah, the intensity so far from Castro has been impressive. Both two-handed onslaught from the very opening bell, and it's continued through 2 rounds. Marked up the face, blood all over the ring at this point from Castillo.
Start of round number 3 as we approach the halfway mark of the scheduled 6 rounds. Kevin Skinner alongside, former MMA champion, boxing champion, author of Fighter's Kitchen.
Kickboxing champion, not MMA.
Kickboxing, excuse me. Sorry, I got so ahead. I wanted to give you that plug for that Fighter's Kitchen. By the way, bought it. Some of the recipes, fantastic. Well done.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Already starting to drop kilos. Not fighting weight, but it's helping me get in shape, carrying around that 6-month-old kid. But Castro's been carrying this fight on his back. He has been the man who has been out front. He's got a foothold on the opening 2 rounds. What about what's the book on Castro as far as his ability to focus in and really fine-tune the idea of how he approaches fight after fight? Is he a guy who just zeroes in, or does he kind of take a little time away, then come back to boxing when he's ready to fight?
No, I think that he's the kind of guy who lives it, makes it a lifestyle, stays in the gym. He's been boxing all of his whole life. In the last training camp, I spoke to him quite a bit about, making his training more scientific and being a little smarter about it. But yeah, no, he's all in his boxing.
It's important in a lot of ways, and we're starting to see that more with the real standout younger fighters, aren't we? They're 24/7 boxing. It's not about taking some time off, waiting to have a scheduled fight, and then starting to ramp up your training, your nutrition, all that stuff. Live and breathe, basically, from the start of the day to the end.
Yeah, it's great to see fighters, young fighters, understand that this is a job, and you work 365 days a year, 52 weeks a year, so...
Castro seems to have that fire that burns already, and again, at 21 years of age, he's still starting to get maturity into the body, has some room to grow there. The mind seems pretty sharp and pretty sturdy.
A lot of swelling over the right eye of Castillo, courtesy of those left hooks that Marc Castro has been landing from round number 1.
Yeah, Castro delivered another left that just caught the jaw of Castillo, so it's not bad enough that he's opening up cuts and forcing Castillo to bleed, but the chin is starting to really feel the impact.
That nose is leaking at this point. Thick blood coming out, usually a sign of a broken nose.
Castro drops his defensive just a touch, and Castillo trying to take advantage. Not sure that's vulnerability, but are we starting to see a little bit of the wear and tear of all of the output from Castro now? As
yeah,
far
it
as
looks
stamina?
like it. I do see a little breach in the stamina there of Marc Castro. He's fighting with his mouth open. Looks like he's taking some deep breaths in there, but still letting those hands go. Still causing damage. So, there's that double left hook there by Castro. Catches Castillo as he pulls out straight. You can see the focus on Castro, man. He has not taken his eyes off of his opponent.
No, he's had that dialed in zero gaze, as if the horses that have blinders on. He is fully focused on Castillo ahead of him as this 3rd round comes to its conclusion. But a couple of nice adjustments. Castillo's taken a lot of punishment already through the first half of this fight, but he hasn't really wavered himself. He still shows that he's got maybe just taking those punches has benefited him, as Castro seemed just a little less with the quickness, if not the focus.
There's no question Castillo is a very, very tough customer. Like you said, he hasn't wavered that much. He's been taking the punches well. It's just his face hasn't. His nose has been busted up. He's starting to swell up. He's been taking a lot of hellacious punches all night long, but hasn't gone down yet. Hasn't seemed like his will is broken yet either.
Exciting to see these fighters that have come in the nascent stages of their career. Kelvin Davis improving to 2-0 as a professional. His younger brother, Keyshawn Davis, now 3-0 in the professional ranks. So the 2 members of the DB3, or a combined 5-0, and Castro looking to join Keyshawn Davis as a perfect 3-0 with his record. As we move into the second half of this final fight, round 4 of the scheduled 6.
Those highlights, we saw a double left hook there from Marc Castro, and also you notice that big swelling over the right eye of Castillo. Oh, good double left hook, high and low.
Yeah, he's used that double left hook just a couple of times here just to really sting Castillo. It's so quick, the recovery, the recoil, and the redistribution.
A la Julio Cesar Chavez. One of the best body punches and the best Mexican of all time.
Castro, as mentioned, makes his home in Fresno, California. Somewhat central to the state, kind of in the eastern central portion, sort of just along the borders of Death Valley. But it's been a town that has produced a number of tremendous professional athletes, most noticeably and most common being in the NFL ranks. But there's also been Major League Baseball players such as Tom Seaver, NBA stars. The NFL has produced a number of quarterbacks like David Carr, Trent Dilford, Ryan Matthews. But there have been professional boxers that have hailed from Fresno. Jennifer Alcorn, the 18-0 professional career. She was a WIBA, IWBF, and IBA lightweight world champion herself. And Hector Lizarraga, Papi, was the 1997 IBF featherweight title champion. But Castro wants to be the man to come from Fresno.
Let's not forget Ramirez, who is the WBO and the WBC junior lightweight world champion, who's fighting in a unification bout in just a few weeks against Josh Taylor.
Sure. So some good pedigree hailing from there. But here's Castro once again, and now it is done. Well, he had a little bit of a foot off the gas moment in the previous round, but it was not to be, because when he regrouped and came back with a flourish, once more, it is Marc Castro who proves that he is a force to be reckoned with, as the super featherweight finds his way to a perfect record once again, stopped. And what can you say about a guy who goes out and just knocks out opponents? Well, 3 for 3 for Marc Castro as a pro.
Yeah, I like that stoppage. I think that he had taken enough punishment. Castro wasn't putting on as much pressure as he was a couple rounds earlier, but he was still doing a lot of damage, landing a lot of punches. Really, Castillo had no answer for the two-handed assault that Marc Castro started from round number 1.
And for Rosario Solis, that's all the occurrence. You'll see here at the end as Castillo says, wait a minute, why are you stopping the fight? I can still take a lot of punishment, but that's the point, isn't it? He was being beaten.
Yes.
He wasn't doing anything to fight back.
Listen, I understand where Castillo's coming from. He was still throwing punches. He was still in the fight. He was still on his feet. He wanted to go out on his shield. He's a true Mexican warrior. But listen, he was way behind, and it wasn't really mustering up much of any kind of offense that would have offset Castro down the stretch.
And there might have been a pride factor for Castillo to stay in and try to withstand and endure the pressure from Castro, but Solis says that's enough. I don't want to see anybody getting hurt, and it was Castro who was just wheeling and dealing, forcing the pressure, and the continued ascent of the young stars from the United States. Keyshawn Davis followed by Marc Castro. It is Castro who emerges victorious in an impressive effort on this 8 de 5 in Arlington, Texas.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Rosario Solis calls a halt to this contest. The official time of the stoppage, 2 minutes and 4 seconds of round number 4. Your winner by TKO, he's still undefeated, Marc Castro.